Hello and welcome to the top of the world. I'm out searching for a tree. Now I'm on land that I have permission to cut from. My old man told him what I wanted. He says, if you can find it, you can go and cut it. Right. Now I found what I think is the ideal tree. And within a few metres I'd lost it. In fact, I just lost myself and I had to walk in the direction to which I thought was the boundary to find where I was. Right, and if we turn around there, behind me, you'll see a bank. Right, that tells me I'm on this furthest boundary. Also, just about here somewhere, you'll see a red band round the tree. We've talked about those in previous wood cutting videos. This also marks the boundary. So everything in front of me is, or now behind me, is what I can cut from. So, most of these trees here are around the same age, and they're tall. They're really tall. That's what I don't want. And there's a reason I don't want one of those. It's got a lot more length to it, but ain't got so much girth. What I want is a tree that had the top taken out by a moose. And therefore, its leading tip, right, has always been a bunch of leading tips. And its height has been restricted. As it stops growing, makes up for it in its girth. And what we want is something from ground zero to 20 feet that's got heavy girth and is straight. That's what we're looking for this beam for the new sawmill building. And now, like I say, I found one, and it's through there. And did I bring my marking tape? No, I tried tape around the trees to identify them. No, I just come up here for a look, found what I think was a good tree, and then lost it. But anyway, so leading on from that, how did I manage to lose myself? In the winter, I don't. And there's a reason for that. I've cleared snowmobile trails through, and in the winter, they're all really obvious, almost impossible to lose yourself. Can you see it behind me? No. Can you see it in this direction? Yes. Right, you can see that. That's cleared. Now, in the winter, once the snow's on the floor, they're super highways. But occasionally, because I don't come out here much when the snow's not on the ground, occasionally I lose myself. I lost myself. So now we're going to go back and see if we can find the tree. So this is a typical tree here. Right, that's what you don't want. What you want is one with a damaged top, which has grown slower and therefore added girth. Now, there's a contentious subject. It's actually on the boundary. That's what I'm looking for. It's got a lot of side branches, which means it might not be so very strong, but anyway. So that one there, look at the girth of it. And it's not so tall as the others. It's got a lot of side branches, a lot of knots in it. Knots are not very good when you want a structural beam. However, it's actually on the boundary. Why is that a contentious issue? Oh. Well, that red line there, on that tree there, that's the boundary. And I have an interest in this tree. And that's on the bank. And you can see largely, right, the bank there is clear. Everything this side, I can cut. Everything that side, can't do that, can't touch that. That's not my land. It is a piece of land I've got a bit of interest in, I've got to tell you, because it's so heavily birched. Anyway, that has got some good girth to it, that one. But it's on the boundary. And it's just, boundary trees are just a contentious issue. Now, when they're cut commercially, they don't cut on the boundary because it's such a contentious issue. Nobody cuts on the boundary. Very often, you'll find the biggest trees on the boundary because nobody cuts. But that, as you get towards the top of that one, it's forked. And that's why it's like it is. And that's what we're looking for. Trees with damaged tops. Anyway, Casper's having a whale of a time. What is he doing? What are you doing? Get it then. Get it. Anyway, he don't know he's on bear patrol, but he is. So I know exactly where I am here. This big stump here, this was another one, one of those rotten ones inside that I thought was going to come down and kill me. Yeah, Not good. That was huge, but just completely rotten. No use. And you get quite a lot of, see where this one splits here? They're no good. So I've got to go back now, and I'm not on the same path I was, and try and follow my trail. What I should have done is taken one of my tags. You can see as we look through here, this is like a crossroads here. You can see as you look through there, one there, one there, one there, one there. They're tagged to be removed in the future. And then one trail goes off down there, and the other trail goes off down where Casper stood now. Anyway, can we go back and find that really big one? I don't know. And then it's about, can we get it out? You see, they're normal trees. That one's had a damaged tip. If we follow that one down, you see the girth of that one, right, compared to that one, or this one. Probably about the same age. And this one, this is an easy one to get out. This is right on the trail. And it looks to be really good to about 20 feet, and then it's no good. And let's see one turn you round. That one's got a good girth to it, and that's what we want. It's all about size. And it goes up, and you can see there it becomes not very good, but above the 20 feet mark. Above 20 feet on this one, pretty much firewood. Can I get a good beam out with it? Is it straight? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the best. It's not the best one, I've got to say. It's got a slight curvature to it. It's got a very slight curvature to it. Does that bother me? No, I can put the curvature up if I need to. It's not very good for cutting on the sawmill. But I have to measure that. I have to come back with my girth measure and measure the girth. Anyway, there's two potentials, this one and one through there. I'm going to walk off down this trail. When I say about trails, this is a nice clear one. You can see this one, and this is on the boundary, and I cut this a few years ago back from the boundary so that I could travel down the back side of this plot of land. But this here, this is really raw in here, unmaintained, unmanaged for a very long time. I really like this piece of land. I really do like this piece of land. It would be exceedingly valuable to me personally for the amount of construction, lumber and firewood it would provide over a large period of time, but without cutting the forest. And that's the big thing. I like a nice managed forest. You can see this area is completely unmanaged behind me, and I have started to manage this in here. It's a bit wild still, but I have started. It's a slow thing. I don't get paid for that, so as I'm in here clearing up, it's nice just to take out some of the dead stuff, let the forest breathe. You've seen me go on about the forest breathing many times before. Now down here, we've cleared a lot of this. Look at that view. That's where the bears are, up here. Are they out foraging for berries? Yeah. Have they finished hunting them? Oh, I don't think so. Anyway, I've got my bear feed running around somewhere. There he is, over there. So, stunning place down here in this valley. Absolutely stunning. We're not far away from where I planted all the trees for my late first wife, so we could go and have a look and see how they're coming on. There's a story behind that. I'm sure I told the story. It's in another video. Anyway, there's a recent big fall. See that? Alright. So now we're down on the main bottom trail. This is a cut through. This is the same way as we bring the Land Cruiser in the summer. And I've done quite a bit of clearing of the big stuff and the dead stuff in here. And the small trees, these here, this whole group here, you know, these were just a few inches tall. And all these were small and raggedy, and it's going to allow all this to come on. So, yeah, this is a nice area here. It's a very nice area. We'll walk through the old part of the forest now. Huge pine there is in here, huge. You know, you're talking on this one here, 250, 300 years on this one. So, yeah, it's a small part. This is remnants of an old cabin just in there, but this is quite wild in here. But you'll start seeing it appear behind me. It's heavily birched. I could cut this for years and not exhaust the birch on this patch of land. There we go, look at that. And it just goes back and back and back. So you could work this piece of land for a long time, not only improving the forest, but taking what you need from it. So, yeah, you can see the amount of birch it's got on it. We're just walking through now to where they cut that road through, where they were cutting in February or March. We've got to get down there and clean this up before the snow comes down again. There's so much birch and other wood where they cut this path through, just lying around, and we could really get into that for firewood. There you go, you can see it all where they just come through in their machines. It's one of the things we wanted to look at. Right, so all these young trees here, there's about 100 planted. And it's not in memory of my late first wife. She told our daughter she wanted to come back as a tree. Well, I thought if I planted hundreds, she's got a choice then, because she wasn't a demanding woman by any means. But I'd hate to plant the wrong tree in the wrong place, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so this area here can all be picked through. And this is the devastation this way. And this is my snowmobile route from over there through here, so it's quite good. Look at the scenery. Look at that. Anyway, we want to see if there's anything worth picking down here, and there's quite a lot of birch on the floor. So I think we could easily come through with the chainsaw through here and have a real good clean up. And this is what I was saying about boundary trees not being cut. Look at that. That was huge. It's on the boundary. Boundary trees. They're such a contentious issue. They don't get cut. But the driver of this machine, when they're coming to log part of the mountain, he's not interested in boundary trees. He's part of the SCA, the mafia. They'll cut down and nobody's going to question it. But he cuts some big ones when he comes through here. Yeah. Anyway, I wonder why they call it the mafia. Can't imagine. There's lots of stories of old, how they managed to get hold of all their land, that's for sure. So everything's looking really nice down here. Really nice. So now we've crossed boundaries. Now we're on a piece of land owned by my friend. I've worked this land quite extensively, and this was cut many years ago. And here lies the problem about replanting, right? He paid somebody so that the SCA could come back here and replant, and they never did. So all this behind me, that was barren. 6 years ago, nothing there at all. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I planted a load of trees. And there you go. But we cut down some stuff, oh boy, we cut down some stuff, some trees. What's that? Was it? cut down some trees January, I think. The remnants are still here. I've got to come back and clean this up. So they've been lying down. That's no good, leave them lying down like that. I need to come back and clear all this area. I think that's all I left on the floor. And all we was doing was a clean up. And then there's some dead ones. See, this is nicely opened up. There's no thinning required in here. The trees that I took from here were for his personal project. But this doesn't need to be touched again for, I don't know, general maintenance, but you can leave it alone for 100 years or so and it'll be just fine. Need to take out the dead ones and keep the debris to a minimum. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a piece of land at the bottom of the next valley behind our place, and it's very nice to spend quiet time here because it's quite open. I never rush myself when I'm down here. Well, it looks like them dead ones have come down. Unless I'm missing something. But that's an old logging route. And there were several dead ones on the side of that. And they're gone. They're not there. So I don't know if the winds brought them down. But they're not there. Completely gone. Maybe they're laid on the floor. I don't know. So, you know, I've got a thing about termites and how important they are for the forest. I damaged this termite hill 4 winters ago. I had to come round this corner behind me, dragging a log, and I tore out half of a small termite hill. Well, I decided I was going to fix that, so I gave them everything they needed to be able to repair and prosper. Wait till you see this. I am just blown away by what has happened here. That's the biggest I've ever seen, and it was a normal termite hill. There we go. Now I half damaged that with a log 4 years ago, and I packed it full of fir and pine tops, just packed it, and they've consumed it all and expanded their nest. So, oh, there's a dead one right there, and it's tagged as dead. That's got to come out. Yeah, what an amazing termite hill. And then this is quite young forest. And then over the top there, on the other side, is where they were cutting from in March, I think. But yeah, what a view. What a view. Well, that's kind of concluded what I was doing, really, which was, I've been working inside today because the weather's not very nice. Give him some exercise, get out there and go and have a look, see if I could find a suitable sized tree on the old man's land that I can cut. Yeah, there's two potentials. One's better than the other. One's more difficult. The better one is the more difficult to get out to. And you have to think about when you're looking at a tree to cut in a piece of forest like that, whether you can get it down without damaging too many other things. Because if you damage 3 or 4 other trees getting it down, there's no point. Might as well leave it alone. But if you can get it down and not damage anything, and ideally, you know, just bend the small ones, then that's the result. That's what you're after. And then the other thing I wanted to look at was how much how many trees are cut down where they cut the path through, see if it's worth bringing the trailer down and nipping that all up as firewood. And yeah, it is, because it's just going to lay on the ground and rot otherwise, and there's no point in letting that happen. I'll tell you what's useful about walking around in the forest this time of year with this selfie stick, as I can see behind me. Now you might not think that's relevant, but it is quite relevant. Yeah. What we're going to do if we see a bear or a moose coming down behind us, call a dog. Yeah. It is a beautiful time of year and no bugs. Right, so we've got to come down and clean this up. And there's not a lot here, but I can't leave that like it was. And I'm pretty sure we had to abandon this. This would have been the next load out when I blew the gearbox. I blew reverse out on the snowmobile, and this is where we'd been. So we need to get back down there and tidy this up. But I'm really impressed with the growth of those trees. And I moved some of those from the young ones that were over this side of the land, and some came from the railway line. Why the railway line? There's always small trees growing by the railway line. Yeah, so you can quite clearly see the line over here of what was existing, and there was just nothing here. It was completely like this, bare. So they've not come on as much as I would have liked, but the birch is coming. And you can see some of the bigger ones I transplanted over there. Some haven't survived and some have, a lot have. This is juniper. We use this in the smoker. Probably a sore subject, probably don't want to mention the smoker, but anyway, when we've got a smoker, we use juniper in the smoker to give the fish its taste. There we go. There's a good view of the area that I planted out. The moose comes along and sees the fresh tops, it'll nip them out, and that's not good. Yeah, there's quite a lot of... There's certainly enough debris up here to make it worthwhile coming and cleaning this area up. So, and it's easy to criticise about it not being cleaned up, but they do it in March. I mean, it would have looked quite clean to them after they'd cut. But I can come back, I could probably get I don't know, maybe a cord or two of firewood out of this. I know it's only little stuff, but there's not a lot of point leaving it on the floor. You can see the clearing on the mountain up there. So there's a clearing up here. That way. There, that clearing. That's where I've seen the big male bear. Twice. I've seen him up there. He's of sufficient size, that's not the one you want to mess with. Assuming they haven't hunted it and killed it, of course. see the small trees coming as I've opened this up. Now let's breathe all the young birch coming through. This was so thick here that the ground was barren, and now there's grass and young trees and birch, fir and pine all coming up. All these young birch have all come up from like little sticks over the last 4 or 5 years. Very nice, very nice. There's an abundance of juniper here. So the stunted trees, this here, this gets nipped out by a moose, and that will stunt the tree forever, and it will produce, well, some it will kill, and some it will produce a much thicker tree, willow. Very rare to find that. And that is a perfectly managed forest. And that is not. This is not a healthy forest, and this is a healthy forest. And you can see the yellow tags on the trees. That's marking my logging trail, because once the snow comes down over there, it can be difficult to find your way through. So the double yellow tags there mark my entrance in and out. That's my entry and exit route, and then you can see the tags all the way down, and then it will turn the corner and it will come out at the top of the hill above my place, and I have to do a zigzag when I come out of there to either go that way or go into here. But we're going to try and take that one out with the Toyota. We don't want to wait till winter. Anyway, the one I was looking at is in the middle of there somewhere. Which is not an easy place to get it out from. Anyway. See, that's a nice one. There. But it's on the wrong side of the trail. Right. That's it then. I thought I'd bring you along for this this lovely walk in autumn. I know my mum likes colours. She'd love that. She would absolutely love it. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Oh no, you might want to see that. Was it? Ellie. Anyway, thanks for joining me. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.